Gentlemen, season's greetings from the Forum, 5519 Yonge Street, best city in the world, Toronto. Hope you guys enjoyed the Christmas break. Hope you guys ate well, you drank well. Crazy start to the season. Give me your take on the first half. Wow. It's okay. It's okay.
Not all at once. I'll say this. It's an interesting year because I feel like there's no clear-cut winner, or there's nobody that we could say is the front runner to go ahead and just run away with this thing. A couple weeks ago we had Boston that was that premier team, and then Orlando goes in there and wins 2 on them, and the thing with this season is like it's competitive, right? So you really don't know. You have a Brooklyn team that's pretty much turned around their season. Yeah. So there's so much happening. There's just so much parity in the league right now. It makes for a good season.
All the teams in the East that weren't playing well earlier are now starting to play well, and it's going to be even a bigger logjam down the stretch. You mentioned, Boston. Oh, Boston, number 1 team in the East, or best team in the league, best team in the league, best team in the league. Well, Milwaukee is now the best team in the league, I think. I mean, they have the championship pedigree to do it.
If you look at the East, when it comes down to it right now, you probably say Boston and Milwaukee are the top 2, right? Yeah. Whichever way you put them, right? But in the West, you've got the Pelicans balling out, right? Like this is what we've wanted to see for so long. Zion Williamson being healthy, dominant, and so for them to be playing the way they are, Memphis, they want all the smoke and they're bringing it too.
Memphis has fun. That's one thing about that group there. They're out there, they're winning.
Those videos when they're dancing before. I love that stuff. Right?
At first I would have been old school and think, this is a bit gimmicky, just go sit between the lines. But they're having fun, and I think that builds camaraderie, there's chemistry, that young group. And it's not, I don't think Ja is the sole leader. I think everybody sticks to their lane, and they respect each other. And I think that is great for that group.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think he's the leader, but he allows other people to step in and be, Dylan Brooks probably has his say. They could come out of the West. Yeah. Like legitimately come out of the West. Yeah. And 2 years ago, they were in a play-in spot against the Warriors, beat them. Yeah. Last year they played well, but this is a team that you're just seeing an ascension there. That and they have this take no prisoners attitude. Yeah. And I think that you need that to contend in the NBA. Yeah. They're fun, man.
And Desmond Bane is still out, and he was playing like an all-star.
Yeah, dude, he was 25, 4 and 4 or something like that. Like that. That's
the football player.
Yeah. Those are all-star numbers.
No, absolutely. So first half, tell me, who do you think is bomb? What we thought was going to be amazing, completely bombed. Who do you got? Ooh.
I think Miami has been a big disappointment. Right? You're talking about a team that was incredible in the East last season, went to the East Finals, went to the end, we look at this season, you still expected the vets to lead the way, right? You expected Kyle Lowry, especially after Pat Riley's comments, to come back and really put together a really great season. But I think it's dropped off for him, and I think Jimmy Butler's been out. Bam has really come through. Tyler Herro's really come through, but they're still around 500. So that's tough.
I'd have to agree there with Miami because they're also a team that's come in and said they have championship aspirations, right? And I don't know. I don't see that right now from them. But I also think they're an older group, right? And you're relying a lot. When you brought in Kyle, you were relying a lot on him to really move that needle. And then obviously, Butler, his durability, right? For as tough as he plays, they just haven't been able to get that consistency and that chemistry going. I don't know if they have it. I don't think so.
Coffee beans aren't working.
On that same notion, Philadelphia is in that same boat, right? I think everybody expected Philadelphia to be a lot better than they are. And when you watch them, there's just something, as good as Embiid is, and I love him, he's probably one of my favorite guys to watch, but they're just a little off. The offense is off. I don't know that they all like each other. I think Tyrese Maxey needs a bit of a bigger role when he gets healthy, but I'm not sure when that's going to be. They're kind of hovering around 500. And I also think the Lakers, people think that they always should be better, and they should. If LeBron brought, a bunch of Cavaliers that he found on the street to the NBA Finals, why can't he bring Anthony Davis and some of those other guys,
I think at that time, that same LeBron we're talking about, he'd wake up in the morning with 20 points. He'd come to the arena with 20 points. everything after that was like gravy, you know?
He's not getting back on defense. He's not.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think spring chicken, man.
No, but still.
Like, this might be a bit of a hot take, but I think the role he might be best suited for now as a scorer would probably be to be the third guy.
Third guy, yeah.
And if you had like two legit dudes in front of him where he's now just orchestrating the offense, obviously he'd still be an elite third scorer, but then I think he'd be able to give you that much more on defense as well.
I also think the construction of that team, if they have some guys in the perimeter that can actually knock down shots, we're not even here having this conversation, right?
Yeah.
But because they don't have that right now, there's a lot weighted on his shoulders, and this guy's approaching 40. Right. And then you also have street clothes that's, he's just not there.
Awesome. Good man, love the name, good man.
So get some shooters around them, and I think that changes the complexion of that team.
That's a great point you made, because when you look at the successful teams now, depth has become more important than ever, right? Like, you look at the Memphis Grizzlies, like, why are they still able to just, plug and play with an injury to Desmond Bane, injury to Jaren Jackson Jr.? Because they have, guys like a Brandon Clark who can step in. They have
Conchar.
Dylan Brooks coming in. These teams can plug and play and just keep everything moving.
So to add to that, I think the big thing there and the important piece is that depth allows you to play at a level of intensity that when a coach goes to his bench, there's no drop off, right? So over the duration of a game, you can wear down teams. Whereas those teams that are dependent on, one or two superstars, you don't have that luxury, right? You go to your bench, there is a drop off for those minutes, right? When you go LeBron-less minutes or Luka-less minutes, it's a completely different team that you play. But those other ones, that intensity, that stays here. That physicality stays here.
Obviously, there's some teams that need that Santa Claus list. They got stuff on the, like things on the list. Give me some teams and what they got on their list, man. What do they need?
A lot of teams need health. A lot of teams need health. I think we could be poised for one of the best, playoffs that the NBA has ever seen. If you have all the teams healthy, I want to see what the Clippers can do healthy. Like, I think if you could gift health to the Los Angeles Clippers and Tyronn Lue, they're going to be a scary team.
You're right. If I'm Santa Claus, I'm gifting Kawhi health, him specifically, not just the Clippers, but Kawhi, because I think we've probably seen in Toronto the best of Kawhi. You haven't seen that since, right? In the last 2 years, he's played just over 100 games, right? You think about the impact that has on the Clippers team. If he's unable to play consistent basketball, I don't see the success for the Clippers.
I'd like to give Cleveland and Atlanta some wings. I feel like you look at those two teams, right? You look at Cleveland, you got Jared Allen, you got Mobley, you got Mitchell, you got Garland. If they had a wing, and it doesn't even need to be an elite wing player, right? Someone that when you go into a matchup, say with Jason Tatum, when you go into a matchup, against those top guys, say a Jimmy Butler comes up in the playoffs, that you can throw at him. Cleveland doesn't have that right now.
What does Luka need?
Defense.
Man. Team. You jumped on that way. Defense.
He's so good. He's so good that you just need moderately capable shooters around him, and they kind of have that. I think Dinwiddie's a good complement, but I think they need someone a tier higher than Dinwiddie for them to really make some noise. Like a Jimmy Butler would be perfect. I mean, he's not moving, but I'm just saying that type of guy, a wing guy that's going to lock somebody down on defense, that's going to not take, the stuff. You can't say that, can you? They need that type of guy. Like Christian Wood comes off the bench and he's an okay player, but his attitude's a little off. Like, he's not that guy.
I thought he would have done much better in Dallas.
There's something,
something's off. Something's missing, eh?
Yeah.
They thought they were doing addition by subtraction with the whole Kristaps Porzingis thing.
Yeah.
They just subtracted.
There's one team I just can't grasp, right? The Washington Wizards. For the last couple of years, they've probably been in arguably the worst position you can be in the NBA, right? You're not good enough to compete, and you're not bad enough to be in the lottery. So they're not developing, they're not winning.
They needed to trade Bradley Beal.
Right.
They needed to start over.
You give him now, 250 mil to sign him. It's like, what do you guys do? What are we doing here?
He wants to stay. I mean, they like these loyal guys, and he wanted to stay. I mean,
Could you imagine him with somebody else though? With Luka?
I still think it's disappointing because that's still one of the NBA's bigger market teams, right? So what are you doing? Are they're not progressing, and there's not a plan in place. Usually you can look at a team and see there's a 4 or 5 year plan, or they show progress.
Right.
They do none of the two, right? And they're not in the lottery sweepstakes. Like, guys.
What do you think about Orlando?
Well, they have a plan.
Yeah.
Right? Like they've been stockpiling talent for a long time. So unlike Washington, where you don't know what they're doing, you know what Orlando's doing. And I was just waiting for things to start to come together. Man, if you look at that roster, Isaac's obviously not healthy. They've got a roster where we talk about depth. Their starting lineup and then their second line is good.
I don't think anybody imagined that Paolo Banchero was going to come into the NBA and have the impact that he's had. He was a big body, had a skill set that would transfer to the NBA physically, but how he's come in and really shaped that team. He plays like a veteran right now.
And Franz Wagner has taken a step. I think people thought he was a nice player. I don't think people thought he was this good. And then you have Suggs, and then you have Bol playing out of his mind. Like Jonathan Isaac was their player before he got injured. And if he could become anything that what he was prior, man, they got some nice.
And then they've taken the pressure off Markelle Fultz, right?
Yes.
Like he's allowed to just develop and be whatever he is, right? And he's really come in and really, brought some solid playmaking and runs the offense and does a lot of the little things that they need. Good defensive player. And so I think they have a healthy mix of guys who can do different things.
And what we spoke on before is that like these young guys are checking the schedule. These guys don't care who's on the bill.
No,
they don't care if it's Boston. They don't care if it's LA. They don't care, man. I mean, these guys aren't afraid of any of these vets.
Listen,
they're going at them.
There's so much money out there, to these guys that they're coming out here and they're saying, listen, I don't care who you are, but I need to stop you. Because guess what? If I stop you, there's 20 mil waiting for me next year.
Good point. Good point.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just a different ball game.
Guys, thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the year.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Can I get a haircut?
No, absolutely not. You didn't talk about my days. There was nothing great said about my team. Absolutely not.
For the 15th straight year, the NBA took over the holidays with another slate of marquee matchups. The players were in the holiday spirit, as was made evident by James Harden's what I believe to be Grinch-inspired outfit, as he and Joel Embiid spoiled the day for Knicks fans in the Garden. The winner of Best Gift had to be Mavericks legend Dirk Nowitzki, who was honored by Mark Cuban, who claimed he would erect the biggest, most badass statue ever, and by most accounts he did. His famed 1-foot step-back fadeaway, aka the Dirk, now lives in white bronze in front of the American Airlines Arena on a street named appropriately Nowitzki Way. And the new cowboy in town, Luka Doncic, followed up the gift-giving by blessing the city of Dallas with a win over the Kings Lakers via an epic Mavs 50-point third quarter. And for our next course, we had the top two teams in the league in a rematch from last Xmas as the Celtics and Bucks got tangled up literally. Unfortunately for the Bucks, there was no revenge for last year's playoff loss being served this holiday as the dynamic duo of Brown and Tatum took over in the second half, with Tatum leaving the table after devouring a 40-piece. Then we watched the Grizzlies dance their way into the Chase Center in some new shoes, but Klay was having none of it, as the Warriors had intentions of throwing a Christmas Day pool party. And to wrap the holiday up with a pretty little bow, we had the reigning MVP make some holiday history with the first 40-15-15 game on Giftmas in a Yellowstone-style Wild West shootout that went to OT. But it was Aaron Gordon who stole the show with what is already being dubbed Dunk of the Year. Appropriately.
'23 is upon us. New Year's resolutions. Give me a team. Give me a resolution.
Ooh, I think if I'm the Utah Jazz, I need to stop winning basketball games. I said in the other show there'd be 20 games under 500, and this is not happening right now. So, they're another one of those teams. Like, they need to lose. Like, they have some nice players, but they're not Like, this is not a team that's going to try to make some noise here in the playoffs. They need to go into the sweepstakes for Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, that's the real deal. I think I gotta give it to not a team, but just continued success for Jacques Vaughn, right? Because he's come in with this Brooklyn team and just single-handedly turned this thing around, right? You listen to how KD talks about his in-game adjustments. You listen to how Kyrie talks about his management of the team and holding guys accountable and forcing them to play hard. Now you're seeing this team, they're going out there, they're smiling, they're having fun. You have 2 closers in this game. It's becoming scary hours with this team. Like, they're the real deal.
My wish list is for the NBA, okay? Yeah. I saw a stat. So far through the season, less than 25% of the games have had the top 3 players from both teams.
Oh, yes. Wow. That's bad. Yeah.
Okay? That is not a good look for the league. Yeah. And obviously they're having CBA talks coming up in February. They pushed it to February. That's something that needs to be addressed because this cannot continue. That is not good for the league.
We are at the dawn of the Danforth. This is a very special night for me. It's my way of giving back to this city that has done so much for me. The fact that, Juancho and Coach Hines have come out here makes me feel good because they recognize how important it is to give back to this community. We have the best fans in the NBA, and there's a lot of people that just don't have what we do. And I think it's all our due diligence, especially as role models and people that represent this city, give back.
I mean, it's huge, when everybody on our team do something for the right cause, and it's a big thing. I mean, we gotta give back to the community. We are so fortunate, we are so lucky. I mean, we play a sport, and all the things we got is crazy. So just give something for the community and support him. I mean, he's doing the right things, and just him is meaningful.
He does a lot for the community. We talk about it all the time. He sits right beside me on the bench. So we get a chance to talk, and he tells me about all the wonderful things he's doing in Toronto. This is my first season here, so I always want to support my colleagues, but he loves Toronto, man. So I just want to come out and experience it and try to help him out any way I can.
You can't turn your back on the people that raised you. And for any individual, whether it's Delano or myself, came through turbulent times, and there were people to help us get into the position that we are today. And for us to turn our back, we would be very ignorant and very naive because everything comes back full circle. So I appreciate all of our local talent efforts, everything they do for our city, but it's just not a one-stop shop. We got to continue doing it, whether it's during the season or in the off-season, and we have a priority to make a difference. We're definitely going to raise our goal of $25,000. Longos is going to match it, and we're going to turn this around and make sure that there's meals for people that may not have during the holiday season.
Naughty nice list. Give me your plus, give me your negative.
On my nice list, I will say, as much as you want the Jazz to lose, I'm gonna go with Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because I feel like, he had that great summer in the Eurobasket for Finland, and people were still like, okay, he hasn't really done it in the NBA, and he gets this opportunity now with the Jazz, and he's just been balling out. Naughty list, I'm gonna go with Jimmy Butler. We know what he does come playoff time, but I think during the regular season, especially if Miami has the aspirations that they have, I don't think you want to be a team that is, having to get through the play-in, then get to the playoffs, and that's a lot for a veteran group to handle.
Naughty list, Washington Wizards. Are you winning or are you developing one of the two? Like, we can't just be in that gray area for the next decade, right? That's a big market team. Nice, Brooklyn Nets and Jacques Vaughn. I just want to see them continue to have that success, especially for Jacques, because this is his second time around in that seat. And obviously, KD playing well and Kyrie playing well. That bodes well for the NBA.
For me, the nice, I think, is Zion. I'm really, really enjoying watching a healthy Zion play. You know, he's 25, 7 and 5, something like that. And he's just, you know, when Vince came into the league, I remember I would be calling my dad. I was in university, and I'm like, Dad, I just saw him do this. And I'm like, I've never seen that on a basketball court. Yeah. And then I'll go the other way. The team that they just beat 2 times in a row, Chris Paul. Like, I want to like Chris Paul because I respect his game and his understanding of it, but he just does things that I just don't like. You know, the elbow on Alvarado, it's just, don't elbow him in the face and pretend you didn't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, it reminds me of like dodgeball. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, like of course you know what you're doing. You know where your elbows are going. You know where.
Hi, and welcome to The Drop, the lifestyle sneaker show that gets you caught up on all the good stuff out now and coming soon. I'm your host, Joe, aka Joe's New Black. Now it's time for our list of the best kicks of 2022. First kicks on our list is the Nike LeBron 20 in the South Beast colorway. Now, it's been a while since we've been this excited about a LeBron performance shoe. The shoes feature a dual swoosh on the lateral side and some major cushioning. We got a large Zoom Air unit in the forefoot and a bottom-loaded Zoom Air unit in the heel. On top of that, we got a nice animal print swoosh, clean low-top design, and nice pink monotone upper. Next up, we gotta include these Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 lows in this black Phantom colorway. The shoes feature the Cactus Jack reverse swoosh, premium black suede, and crisp white stitching. Clean and mean. Also on our list for best of 2022 are these Jown Asics Gel Cayano 14s. Leave it to Jown to make a minimalist, clean, and ultra-wearable silhouette. Whether it was the black and silver or the white and silver with a touch of cream, these were definitely on everybody's wish list. Next, when it comes to 2022, few sneaker drops were as limited and expensive as the Louis Vuitton Air Force Ones by Virgil Abloh. Now limited to only 200 pairs and only available through Sotheby's auction, these were the ultimate symbol of sneaker meets high design luxury. Whether it be the use of LV's iconic luxe materials or the included Virgil bright orange embossed case, these were definitely some next level kicks. From maximism to minimalism, the Tom Sachs General Purpose shoe is one of 2022's best. Whether it be this gray and blue studio colorway or the more recent mustard and orange archive makeup, these are the wear everywhere kicks we all need and love. And finally, our pick for best sneaker of 2022 has got to be these lost and found Air Jordan 1s. There is nothing that compares to a classic, and there really isn't anything more legendary or more iconic than an Air Jordan 1 in a Chicago makeup. Add to that some vintage detailing on the collar, midsole, and toe box, not to mention some dope packaging, and you got yourself the sneaker of the year. And that's it for this week's episode. So many kicks, so little time. We'll see you next time with more good stuff on The Drop. Thanks for watching.